Hello, welcome to the live stream here today on Saturday. It is about 4:38. Here I am live streaming to you guys from my studio office. Just getting a little more and more lived in, a little more settled in. I got a plant now. Check it out. It's a money tree. It's not doing too well. So I'm spending too much money. How you doing? Also, I have not been streaming for a while, so I know it's going to probably take a while for us to get back in numbers, get back some more folks. Hey, DC fan for life, how you doing? So this past couple weeks, I have had a video, like a 12-year-old video, just pop off. It's been kind of crazy, and I can kind of show you the analytics of what happened there. And I can show, well, I can show you this part right here. So this is the video. It's the slit scan video. And you notice right here, about June 30th, we just went to 3,000, 8,000 views, just like a whole bunch of views right here. All told, maybe like, I don't know, something like a few thousand views, which is kind of unusual for this video, obviously, because the last few years, it's literally been doing, like maybe 78 views a day or something like that, but all of a sudden we did 4,000. I don't know quite why I've gotten all of a sudden views on this 12-year-old video. The audience-wise is fairly, it's interesting actually, because if we look into the audience of the video itself, oh shoot, am I not connected on my vMix? That would explain why. Let's try that again. Should be some comments coming in. There we go. My audio is off when you switch to the camera. Oh, you're right. So I thought my audio... Oh, let me turn the audio off on the... We don't want the camera audio at all. Yeah, I don't want the camera audio. Let's see. I just set this up today, so I don't know. If I go to the camera, should be good, right? The audio should be switching fine. Oh, there's an echo. Okay. Yeah, so that's probably because the camera audio was turning on there. But yeah, so I just set this up for this computer right now in order to live stream today. So yeah, this particular video just did really crazy numbers here. Large numbers in the last few days. If you look at the device type, it is 56% TV, which is interesting because it tells me, which kind of goes along with this next graph now, which is this. It's mostly 50 to 65-year-olds that are watching this video. There's considerably a lot older demographic watching this video. This is not your Mr. Beast numbers right here. About 91% of viewers are 45 to 65 plus years old. That is not usual for YouTube. So it's interesting. So I've been getting some good and also very annoyingly negative comments about this video that I wanted to just bring up as a topic to talk about. And oh, here we go. DC fan, been so on a spree. Oh, is it not taking it? I have to take it. There we go. Your old videos, they're so helpful and informative. Even years later, no video has surpassed. Thank you very much. There you go. Thank you so much for that comment. But yeah, this is one of those videos that was, there we go. Let's trigger overlay. I didn't do that right. Cancel. Don't close that. Cancel that. So, yeah, so let me go through a couple of comments. First, let's stick with the positives, because we always want to start with positive. We always want to be positive, right? So, positive is, I'll go through my comments in here. This most recent one I got was, I ran the camera at a horse race in Colorado roughly 50 years ago. Nice to see the process get a nod here. So, that fits the narrative, right? Fits the demographic of an older person. He ran the camera 50 years ago. It's got to be probably like 65 plus, right? Now, thank you, JD. Yeah, studio is getting there. And I'm starting to think about where to go as far as actually making the next actual filmmaker IQ videos. Yes, we are in that. We are getting ready to do that. All right. I love this comment here. It's interesting to learn how Kubrick accomplished these effects, but I think the movie went off the rails at this point. This part of the film always puts me to sleep. I mean, it's a comment, but it's not a negative comment. Cool technique, more patience than I have, no matter how great my vision may be. That's cool. But so let's see. Right on. That's really great. Nice work. Thanks for your clear exploration. And then one more example: slit scan effect, the TV network commercials and show openings. Just to search episodes ABC Movie of the Week. Created 19. I remember those commercials from my childhood before I saw 2001. A lot of people are enjoying the talk about. Oh, slit. This is the. By the way, this is the slit scan video. Sorry about that. This is the video I made about the slit scan technique used in 2001: Space Odyssey. That particular video just shot off. Is it like a specific anniversary for 2001? Maybe that's the reason why. Space Odyssey, 1968. So I don't know why. For some reason, people were just Googling this thing. Really here. Pretty cool. I use a slit scan with a long medium format, rotating body in the 80s to shoot graduating high school classes in California. We carry and set up not just the camera, but the grandstand. So another person who's working in the 80s, that fits the mold of a 40s plus person. And I love that. What's your excuse? Great. Keep up the great work. And then I love this one. This particular one is really, really good. I'll actually put this on screen because I want you guys to be able to see it. Here we go. STLS says, I worked with Doug for 10 years, and we often discussed slit scan and his setup. He was a great friend, and we did many wonderful projects together. He used to call me his chief scientist, haha. Miss him every day. Nice job portraying slit scan process. That's cool. So cool. What other big films did you work on? And he said, Doug and I came up together with a short film that also hunt for anomalous objects in the skies. We started by doing television commercials, which he hated, and he wanted to assemble a team to get a synergy going. It was highly successful. We worked in a film called Into the Beyond about a lone astronaut going to Mars, all models built and filmed at Trumbull Studios. We did a movie about Nikola Tesla at Niagara Falls in Buffalo, New York, and this was done in 3D. It was quite the production. It was a wonderful decade of many projects. So I like seeing comments from people that have experience with this, or it reminds them of things. I love that. I love all that. I love the commentary. I don't even mind some criticism, but man, you gotta get back to some of those reasons why I also hate YouTube comments. Okay, because I get a lot of those, and I've been getting things like this. Anyone else triggered by them using the plural wrong for Lego? No S, people. It's no S. So the plural for Legos is Lego, not Legos. And I made this video in 2000. Oh, I don't know. 11 years ago, 2013. I made this video. Let's see. The Lego movie probably came out after that, right? Lego movie was 2014, so it came out a year. So I don't know that the Legos, pronounced plural of Legos, is Lego. And this is not the only comment I got on this. I've gotten at least 6 or 7 comments saying it's Lego, not Legos. And then people are saying they're triggered. So I wrote back in my own nasty way. Yeah, a lot of people are triggered. Kind of feel sad for y'all being triggered by such a mundane error. But I guess sheep got a sheep. And the guy wrote sheep. I guess spelling doesn't matter then. So I'm going to write back. I'm thinking I should write back only if your corporate overlords say so. I don't know. Why does it matter? Why does it matter how to spell a brand name that rakes in billions for overcharging for plastic bricks? Why am I getting these comments over and over again? Anyhow, one guy said, I was with you until you used After Effects because, you're working with digital photography. You should be going analog all the way. But the comment I keep getting a lot, and it bothers me, the comment that bothers me the most is, Well, another one that's kind of a minor nitpick. I get a lot when I say like, "Oh, I had the slit like about an eighth of an inch or about a millimeter or so," and it was actually an off the cuff kind of ad lib when I was just saying about a millimeter or an eighth of an inch or something like that. And my God, people cannot stop it with telling me that a millimeter is not an eighth of an inch. An eighth of an inch is actually about 3 millimeters. So a millimeter is about 1/32 of an inch. And then somebody else came in and corrected, no, an eighth of a millimeter is actually about 1/25 of an inch. It's like, shut the fuck. Ugh. Okay. All right. But the one that constantly bothers me, always bothers me is the comments that are always like, dude, get a teleprompter. You're looking, it's either get a teleprompter or like stop. You're not engaged. You're not looking at the audience in the eye. My point with my frustration with this is, like, you are picking at a point of the video that has absolutely nothing to do with anything as being said or done. You are only picking at it just to, like, you're not commenting on my science, you're not commenting on my philosophy, you're not commenting on my rigor, you're not commenting on the practice, you're not commenting on technique. You're commenting about, oh, your eyes are, either you should get a teleprompter because you keep looking off the side of the camera. Because I was looking off the side of the camera because back in those days, and back in 2013, when YouTube was relatively new, like I remember watching a lot of other video creators who would talk to the camera like this, and they would just look off the camera, and they would just talk to the camera like I was talking to a human being, because no human being stares at a lens at a person's eyeball forever. They tend to look around, they kind of look to the side, and then talk back to you, and look over here. That's why I was doing that, because I didn't want to like do the barrel thing of the eye. I think maybe people were not. We weren't as like trained in video production, YouTube talking head stuff where you're just constantly staring. But maybe, I don't know, maybe nowadays people are doing streamings. I know when I watch a streamer, they're not looking at the camera all the time. They're usually looking at at their screens, or if they're playing a game, they're looking at the game and they're talking to you while they're looking at the game. But I've gotten like at least a dozen of those comments. Let's see if I can find one. You need a teleprompter. Your gaze averted to look at whatever screen it is you're reading from is annoying and looks totally unprofessional, says Scott M838285. And I was like, I was using teleprompter. Averted gaze is just a nervous tick. It's your comment's unnecessary. It's annoying. And I love this. Dougie Doug says, why do Americans make Lego plural? First of all, why even involve Americans? Like, it's not an American thing. It's just people don't know that Lego is supposed to be. Just shut oh my God, just shut up. Like, comment on the fact that I didn't do this right, or I didn't do that. I could rather take the criticism that's actually warranted. Like this morning, I was annoyed because I go back and forth with the one guy that was talking to me about like, oh, you can't handle criticism. Yeah. Criticize me on the stuff that matters. You're criticizing me on like not looking at the down the barrel lens in a video that's 13 years old. My God, so annoying. Let's see. I like this one right here. This is one I hearted. It said fact checked. The footage you showed in the 1964 World's Fair is not from the Moon and Beyond, but from the 1960 film Universe, produced by the National Film Board of Canada. Universe is shown at the fair, and Kubrick saw it as well, so this is the advice of one of the filmmakers, Wally Gentleman, as how certain effects were achieved. Anyone watching Universe can immediately see the influence it had on the visual style, effects, and concept of 2001. And it's like, that's a great criticism, because that's interesting. It's factual. It's good. Oh my God. So, let's see. I'm trying to find another one that was pissing. Maybe I only saw like a few of them. let's see. There's an eighth of an inch is 3 millimeters. I don't get it. Why do people just shoot? Oh, no, that goes back 9 months. Maybe I need to go into the other comments. But anyhow, so yeah, I've been hit with a lot of comments, which is good. I've gotten some good ones, but you know, it's also kind of annoying. I just wanted to say that I left a comment on one of your videos when I first signed up on YouTube, and you misunderstood it as a troll. Well, if that was the case, then that's the case. You know, misunderstandings happen. But if you didn't mean it as a troll, and it was understood as a troll, then you got to, like, you know, own up to it, essentially. But yeah, so that's what I was kind of going through a lot of these comments. But anyhow. Maybe it wasn't. I was getting a whole lot of the. Maybe I deleted them all. That's what it was. Just getting all these comments like your eyes are off. You're looking at the thing. Oh wow. I'm backtracking because I can't find all these comments. Maybe they got rid of them. Because there's actually a lot of good ones on here too. My mom took me to see 2001 was released because I liked science fiction. I was 12. I don't know what happened to me, but during the trippy sequence, I began choking and gasping for air to keep peace in the theater. My mom rushed us out. So I think it was early psychedelic experience or precursor to my teen years. So that was cute. So yeah. Anyhow, Lego. Yeah, triggered by Lego. How's that even possible? People don't worry about it. Your videos are amazing. Thank you. Yeah. I'm just trying to see if we could find another nasty comment. May have deleted them. Probably. All right. So that's what I wanted to. That was what I wanted to get my soapbox on my soapbox about. I got my Indian friend is still commenting on me, and I'm still trying to get a reading on what he's trying to say. Phil says, a degree of negative comments is unavoidable and I believe actually increases engagement scores and push the video further. That's true, and an unfortunate thing, my commenting on the negative comments probably also engages the comments and creates more traffic and more engagement, and then shows that I'm actually alive. The studio is alive. The channel is alive, that I'm alive, and I'm fighting back. But I don't know. So, speaking of which, so my Indian friend is obsessed with rolling shutter, and he will probably watch this live stream. He's probably not watching it live. So let's address this situation right now. So I'm going to try to read your comment out loud. This is going to be experiment. This is all experimental production here. All right, here we go. So he left this comment on my video. So, John, sir, it is difficult to find that distortion is caused by rolling shutter or distortion caused by lens, such as barrel and pincushion distortion, and also other distortion caused by lens. Okay, so I'm assuming he's saying, how can you tell the distortion is caused by the barrel, the lens, or pincushion? And so I responded with, what are you hoping to accomplish with these questions? Because this is not the first question he's asked. So he asked, like, how do you determine rolling shutter? Well, rolling shutter you can determine by, moving the camera really fast back and forth. Like in my hand, you can see the skew of the image. That's not the. I mean, my camera has a little bit of rolling shutter, but I'm exaggerating with my fingers, right? So that's one way. Barrel distortion, I told him, is easy. You just take a picture of a grid, and then you measure the grid and see what's wrong with the grid, and you can measure. Okay. And so he's coming back with, sir, the problem is my mind is not accepting rolling shutter that objects are captured in different time. I do not find these effects in my face reactions, and I also saw cars traveling 150 kilometers per hour, and if the camera has rolling shutter of 20 milliseconds, then it should create an error of 82 centimeters that is visible to the eye if we consider practically, but not find 82 centimeter error. So, sir, in my mind there is doubt that the rolling shutter is true concept or false concept, or distortion may not happen due to capturing different moments in time, as it may because of lens like barrel and pincushion distortion. Sir, is there any valid proof that rolling shutter capture in different time, and we can solve practically? Okay. Let's see if we can let's see if I can explain to Qatari, because I've had this discussion for like on a year. Okay, so part of the problem, I think, what he was trying to do is look at, like, he was taking a picture of a car going 150 kilometers per hour across the frame. But the thing is, I'm thinking he's trying to do the math in that he's trying to say, well, a car is, 2 meters tall, or no, not even 2 meters, 1.5 meters tall. If it's going 150 kilometers per hour, it travels 82 centimeters in 20 milliseconds. I don't see an 82 centimeter difference. Okay, but the problem is your image is not of the entire car. Your image is of a small portion. So in order to measure your rolling shutter, you need to know the speed at which your object is moving across the frame. But again, the actual speed doesn't matter. It's angular speed. Okay, it's how fast it's moving across the image. So you could say, like, well, it's angular. How long does it take to go from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen? Now, if your car is only traveling, like, if your car is only this big in the screen, then the rolling shutter is only be this part of the screen. So it's not going to be the whole entire screen. And on top of that, 150 kilometers per hour. Let me do some math here. 150 kilometers per hour is it's how many meters per second? Is 41 meters per second. So 82 centimeter distance is like a tiny fraction. You can't tell. So anyhow, what can I say? To answer your question is, you are using your brain to find these errors which your brain cannot find. Your brain cannot see those small differences in rolling shutter for the most part. Your brain cannot see your brain, like, look behind me at my slats. I can see, I mean, it's hard to tell. They look pretty straight up and down, but if you look at the edges, you can kind of see a little bit of a bowing because the barrel distortion of the camera, you can see it bowing backwards a little bit. So you've got to be very careful. Like, yeah, you're not going to see the error in a person's face with the rolling shutter. And I've had this discussion with him, like, forever. Like, he says, like, is rolling shutter so bad that you need to, like, it distorts the human face? And, like, not to the point where you would notice it. So anyhow, I don't know where I'm going with all this, other than I'm venting because friends of mine got me in this one little game called climbing the spire or some nonsense, something about spire, and it's addicting, but it also makes me feel terribly bad because I spent like 4 hours playing it today on my couch, even though I probably needed it because, like, yesterday was a lot, like a big day. Last couple days were like activity filled days, so I did need a kind of a lazy day today, but I did want to stream today. Oops, I should be on camera. Why am I not on camera? I'm back on camera. I thought I was on camera the whole time. Oh wait, wrong one. I am on camera. But yeah. What am I saying? I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, let's get to your comments. Hope you had a good Fourth. My Fourth was excellent. It was one of my best Fourths I ever had. I got to spend it with Carolina. Got to hang out, go watch fireworks, got to shoot some footage. Can bill for some hours for the footage. It's on this SD card that you need to transfer. So it was good. There's no such thing. Orson Welles says there's no such thing as bad press. I think he may have recanted this later, though. Yeah, there is such thing as bad press nowadays. It's the whole. I mean, we're kind of getting out of the era of cancellations, but cancellation was basically bad press. It was the witch hunt of the late 2010s, 2020s. Hey, there's Bullet Science. Nice to see your studio finished. Just finished filming day 2 of 3 of a 80s music festival. 6X Panasonic HCX1s, 2s, FX3s, and FX3s on a DJI RS3
DJI drone, DJI Pocket 3, all for the sizzle reel. Nice. I have an FX30 on my DJI 3. Nice. So yeah, that's what's going on. I am in the process of developing my cinematography course that I am designing for the fall semester, which will start in August 13th. And I'm taking probably a different tack than I think a lot of people would take as far as how I teach this class, but it is going to be very, very, very different. So I've got 2 textbooks I'm assigning. Yes, I'm assigning textbooks. Like, oh, John, no. My last class I taught, I didn't have a textbook, but this class I'm assigning these 2 textbooks. The first one I'm assigning is The Visual Story by Bruce Block, Creating Visual Structure in Film, TV, Digital Media. If you are comfortable with production, but you don't have a very, very, very finely sensed theory about visual theory, this book, and I'm not getting paid for this right now, this book is very, very good. This is one of the best books. I remember reading it when I was a youngster, and it'll get you thinking about like flat space, foreground, backgrounds, medium shots, color coordination, controlling tone. It's just a fantastic book. Like, I think this book is probably the most valuable book you'll have on cinematography, on visual design. It's so much so that, honestly, I'm getting bored with my photography because I cannot practice all the things that I'm thinking about in this book because when I'm walking around doing, like, walkabout shots. I just kind of get really, really annoyed. I hate that. But that is a book I am assigning for the class. The class will probably be, like, the first half of the class, the first third of the class will essentially be, well, come on, camera, don't do that. Follow, stop following me. It's starting to follow me because I think I did a hand gesture and it caught me. Yep, well, you're gonna just follow me, fine. Just do your thing. All right. Oh, the algorithm showed you that slit scan video? Yeah, the algorithm's gonna like that. 10 out of 10 book. I totally agree. That's one of the best books out there, and I am assigning that as an actual book that they have to buy and use for the class. They don't have to buy it. If they buy it on Amazon, that's good. If they happen to find a copy that fell off a truck, that's fine by me. I don't care because, when we're working with community colleges, there's a lot of students that don't have a lot of money. That's fine. Let's see if I can get this thing to stop follow me. There we go. I think it was the hand gesture that got it. All right, so that's the book. The other book that I am assigning them is this one, Cinematography Theory and Practice by Blaine Brown. This is, I think, probably the most comprehensive book as far as actual camera gear technology things. And part of the reason why I loved it when I bought it way back when, well, no, actually it was suggested in this book. It was suggested by the college as far as the cinematography class, and I looked at it, and it was these particular graphs right here. These graphs right here, which look a lot like the graphs I created for the dynamic range video. And because of that, I fell in love with this book, because this book, I feel, gets it right. Like, it really, really gets it right. And the cool thing about this book? The photography the exposure triangle, not to be found in this book. No mention of the exposure triangle. We do not talk about the exposure triangle. But heck, we do talk about, like, Ansel Adams' zone system. So there's a lot of stuff in here that's really good. So this is more of a technical book. So the first third of the class will be mainly done on this book. So the first third of the class will be mostly this book. The second third of the class will be mostly this book. So we're going to transition from here to here. Oh my gosh. Cinematography course. Jay Holben's and Chris Props, the Cine Lens Manual. I know Jay Holben. I've talked to him. I interviewed him a long time ago, and I wonder if he's upset with me because I never released that interview because it was my brain wasn't ready to release unedited interviews back in those days, and nowadays I could have just released it as a podcast and it would have been fine. But yeah, no, that book is extremely detailed. I think he kind of like when I was asking him about what do you call it, about anamorphic lenses, and I feel like he was kind of poo-pooing me a little bit. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, obviously Jay Holman knows way more about lenses than I ever will. And that book is that I don't know if I don't think I have that book because that book's expensive. That book's super expensive, and it's probably more for like designers of lenses. But yeah. He did finally watch my anamorphic video, and he said, "Yeah, some things wrong, but mostly it's right, and you did a good job of like presenting it." So that's good. That was good little props from the great Jay Holman. Cinematography course starting August 13th. Text, visual, story, block. Yep, that's it. Oh, I use the videos for my from the videos in class. Good. Please feel free to use all the videos on YouTube in classes and all that. That's what they're there for. So that's one of the things I've been doing, and I know y'all gonna hate me, but ChatGPT is a lifesaver for lesson planning and design. I'll be honest, it is so useful for creating lesson plans because you know what you want to do, but you don't have you know to be able to go through and it's like, hey, all right, I know I want to do I have a page I want to say read chapters 2 and 3 in Visual Story by Bruce Block, and until ChatGPT knows what's in the book because it's read it. Sometimes more often, like half the time, it does hallucinate the chapters, so you have to be careful. But you can say, hey, I want you to come up with like 3 bullet points for students to like follow when they're reading, to think about when they're reading this book. And you throw in the ChatGPT, and ChatGPT spits out, here's some 3 bullet points that you might have your students listen to or try to like follow along. Okay, and if you make sure you double check the work, make sure you look at it like, okay, this is proper, and it's ready to go. It's so awesome for doing. ChatGPT is great for doing basically bureaucratic legwork, like stuff that is not creative. You just need like content. You just need to fill stuff up. It's really good for doing that, which is also scary in that basically everything, every advertisement, every blog posting is all going to be just AI from here on out. Or it's just the end of the blogosphere. No more such thing as blogosphere. I'm wondering. I don't know anything about the recipe, cooking blogosphere. Like, do people even write food blogs anymore? Because every time I go look up a recipe, it's like 10 pages of, my family and I like to have a quick dinner before we engage in our devil worshipping on Wednesday nights, and therefore we like to find food that's filling but also not too making us not too bloated, because in order to sacrifice our crazy or do our sacrificial practices, we need to have an empty stomach. I'm just joking, obviously. But yeah, but all these recipe sites just have tons and tons of backstory with regards to the recipe that you're about to undertake. I mean, that could all be written by ChatGPT, right? Speaking of ChatGPT, any updates on the studio's video? I started looking at figuring out how I'm going to approach a United Artists story, a story about United Artists, because I think that was probably going to be my next video. How I'm going to shoot it here? Probably going to shoot it over there in my studio space. Follow me over yonder. Probably going to shoot it over there and just kind of go more basic background. Let's see, come on. And stop following me. There we go. I'll probably just shoot it with the basic vertical slats, maybe put a little bit of texture lighting on it, and then do some cool lighting on me. Maybe put a plant or 2 in the background. Maybe put like a little fan or something. I don't know. Make a little. I still have that little small desk thing, so I set up a little desk maybe, and I could shoot it that way. Kind of keep it simple. Do mostly probably narrated. Do more of a narrated version of it, more of a narrated documentary, because part of it also is, I want it to look good, but I also don't want to spend so much time in production that it becomes like a month-long endeavor to get a video out. So that's United Artists is the one that I've been in my driving sessions. I've been talking to ChatGPT and like diving into how the shape I want the story to go in, because it starts off, with United Artists being a conglomeration of, Charlie Chaplin, Mary Pickford, what's that name? That guy, Griffin, D.W. Griffith, Mary Pickford's husband at the time. What's his name? Fairbanks, and one other person, I forget who it was. I think it was a lawyer. And how it started off as sort of a way for the rich filmmakers, to become filmmakers of themselves, and how it kind of always stayed outside of the boundaries of Hollywood. It was always the smaller of the other big studios. But then what happened, what I think was interesting, was when the Paramount decrees happened, when all the studios were forced to sell off their movie theaters. You have an interesting thing, because on one hand, all these studios lost their vertical monopolies, so they lost the ability to push product through the movie theater. On the other hand, they all got supplied with a ton of cash, right? So when they sold all those theaters, they made a lot of money. So now these movie studios have a lot of cash. They could have been using that for whatever, but most of the time they just kind of stuck by and developed things like widescreen and stuff like that, and trying to make movies the old-fashioned way. United Artists is different. United Artists instead became basically the model for modern corporate Hollywood. And United Artists decided instead, in fact, these two lawyers that came to the last surviving owner of United Artists, Mary Pickford, and said, "Hey, give us control of the company for 1 year. And if we make it a success, then we get to hold on control. If we don't, then we'll sell it back to you. But just give us control for 1 year, and we'll make it profitable. If we don't make it profitable, we'll give it back." And I don't know what the deal was, right? Something like that. Well, in that year, they made it profitable. They made it really profitable. And part of that was basically they became, instead of all these other studios like MGM and Paramount and Fox and all, 20th Century and all that owned lots and owned property and owned sets and all that, what United Artists did was because these were lawyers and these were like financial folks, they became a money outfit. So they said they would work with filmmakers who came to them and said, "Hey, I've got this idea for a movie, and I've got this production company. I just need cash. I need capital to make this movie." And United Artists would come up with the capital, and then they would distribute the movie, because they were used to making deals with independent theaters. Okay, so that was the model. They didn't have overhead like MGM. They didn't have overhead like big giant Paramount over there. So like Otto Preminger had his own production company. They could go to United Artists and get the funding to make his movies. And now that happened, and as Bullet Silence just mentioned, it's been on my mind because they're co-distributors with James Bond franchise. Well, that was only possible because those guys from England came to United Artists and says, "Hey, we need the capital to mount this big giant production," and Eon Productions and all that, and they were able to do it. So United Artists finds the money, and then gives the money to the filmmakers in return for the rights and all that. And that's the model that modern corporate Hollywood works in today. It doesn't, it's corporate Hollywood today is not a matter of like who owns the apartments, who owns studio assets. Modern Hollywood is Paramount and Fox and all those people. I mean, yeah, they do own some production facilities, but really they are the money people and the distribution people. So that's the big giant story. And then from there, United Artists does quite well, obviously with James Bond and all that stuff, working on a very thin margin or a very thin overhead. And then they get bought out by Transamerica, and Transamerica is, they have a little little thing, here and there. But Transamerica stays at first stays hands off, but then it becomes a little bit more involved. And then I guess the next to last chapter is going to be the Heaven's Gate debacle. Heaven's Gate was, and I haven't dug that much into it. I mean, other than knowing that Heaven's Gate was wildly over budget, and it basically destroyed United Artists. It made it financially like insolvent in a way. I don't want to talk too much more about that because I haven't done the research on that. From there, after that, it got sold off to MGM. And in MGM, it's sort of just languished as a brand that they would use to, for maybe a little more artsy films that they wanted to get Oscar bait with. And there's a time there in, I guess, 2011 where Tom Cruise was trying to reboot it, but nothing happened to that, and that's the end of UA. So that's the plot line for United Artists, and all 16 of you folks right now watching live, and the 1,000 people that watch usually after the the live playback, now you have a sense of where that story is going to go. So that's why I think that UA is the most interesting follow-up to the Paramount and 20th Century Fox, just because those are two very the very like traditional Hollywood, whereas I think UA kind of illustrates the transition from traditional Hollywood to modern financial side of Hollywood. Yeah, the Bond films are guaranteed money ever since GoldenEye. It's been on the top of the 10 highest grossing movies of the year, right up until the last release. The last release didn't make money? Didn't make money? I don't remember. I don't remember the last one, honestly. Oh, yeah, I remember the last one where he dies. Spoiler alert! James Bond's dead. At least time for a new one. So that one's that. Another one video I wanted to do, and these are two videos I want to try to do this summer, I guess. I want to try to get my brain, again, I think the value is, and you're going to hate me saying it, using AI as an assistant in this situation. Now, I'm not going to have AI write it for me, but I might have AI do a lot of like checking on things and finding some information and doing some like assistance researcher kind of thing. Like, hey, find me some information on so-and-so or what, I've oftentimes used that instead of Google, because Google has gotten really bad at, like, if you ask Google a certain question, it's, Google's trying to catch up a little bit. They're implementing their own AI, but trying to ask a question like, hey, who was the president of Transamerica during the buyout? What year did the buyout happen? Stuff like that. And as I can go through Wikipedia and try to research it, but having ChatGPT by my side as an aid to doing the research might make things a lot more easy and, to be fair, fun. Because I think right now I'm going through sort of a creative rut, really, because I've been doing, March has been crazy. Like, March was a lot of work. But most of my actual, like, work that I get paid for, and I'm kind of in a slow period right now because it's summertime, it's very boring. I'm sorry if your client's watching this, but it's very dry. Like, I make a lot of very, very dry stuff. I don't ever make stuff that is entertaining, with purposes to be entertaining. The stuff I make, the purpose is to be educational or capture a certain thing, or to like promote a certain sense or advertise something. And not to say that advertising isn't entertaining, and not to say that there isn't some creative aspect to doing that. It's like I haven't made anything that's purely made to like entertain. Even if entertaining, I'm educating you. So it is tough. Off to recharge, good for you. I'll recharge for day. That is so hard to do. And those live events take a lot out of you. Google equals propaganda and Wikipedia via editors. Yeah, that's the trick though. You have to figure out where the propaganda is and find the line. So the topic that I do, UA. Luckily, in the world that I'm working in, propaganda really hasn't, like, political biases aren't really in what I do. Like, there aren't a whole lot of political biases toward telling the story of United Artists. Maybe there might be, but I don't think. At least if I look for it, I can guide my way through it. But another video that I'm going to be working on, the other video I want to work on, is the Zen of depth of field. I wanted to approach it kind of a different way of doing my videos. I kind of want to get away from doing stuff on green screen because I feel like green screen kind of boxes me into certain things because I am a one-man shoot, one-man band here. I shoot by myself. I edit by myself. I mean, I could probably ask somebody to come over to help me shoot, but you know, it's always going to be really one person for me. And yeah, so I always want to. So green screening, doing on stuff on green screen feels like although it frees me up to do a lot of possible backgrounds and lots of possible creative side, it just feels like a little. It doesn't box me in as far as like what I can do visually, and then it becomes super polished. And I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I want to try something different. I want to do something more like leaner. So I want to do a zen of the zen of depth of field, and more approach it more like from a like a calm sense. Like I don't ever want to make one of those videos. I remember this video made such an impact on me. I was doing research, you know, back in the day when Filmmaker IQ used to be a blog site. I would look up videos and find videos online, and I found this video of the exposure triangle, but it was so poorly done. It was the exposure triangle in like 2 minutes, and the guy was talking so fast and not clearly, and it's like you had to understand the exposure triangle in order to understand what he was saying. And it was just like YouTube was full of people just making tutorials just to like what do you call it? Just YouTube was people were making YouTube just to get the algorithm because it said exposure triangle and catch up on sites like Filmmaker IQ and Petapixel and all those other places that would run the video and you get like a couple hundred views. How long is your cinematography course? Do you think you'll give it again, or is it a one-time thing? I teach at MSJC, Mount San Jacinto College, Community College in Menifee. It is a higher division course, so that there's a prerequisite to take Video 190, which is Video Audio 180, Video 190, which is an intro to video production course. So that course will teach you how to basically, if you've never used a camera before, you've never edited it before, you walk into that course and you learn how to do both to a relatively, you know, at least acceptable degree. Hopefully, you know, from there, once you take that course, you're eligible to take the second level courses, which is going to be the cinematography course, where I expect you to know already how to edit and kind of how to shoot. You know, I want you to be able to know how to hit record and how to take that footage and dump it on something. So I will be teaching it this semester. Hopefully it goes well. I think we'll have a lot of people signing up. And hopefully I'll get to teach it again. Otherwise, I'm going back to teaching the intro course. I like teaching the intro course. It's fine. But I'm looking forward to this one because from our intro courses tend to have like quite a few people. Like, well, not quite a few people. It's the feeder class. So we usually fill up 3 classes full of the intro course, and then we split. Then from there, people that move on to the next level, it's usually about a third. So only a third of the people move on to the next level. So it'll be a smaller level, more dedicated. Stop following me, camera. It'll be a smaller, more dedicated group of cohorts that will enjoy. That I think we'll really get something out because I'm going to kick their butts. No, I don't. I think it'll be a fun. If I were taken, I think it'd be a fun creative challenge. So it's really going to be an exciting thing. So I've got it. I took a course. They offered teachers, adjunct faculty like myself, to take an online teaching course to get certified in like online. I don't know if I'm certified, but like to take a course in online teaching. So I did that, and the great thing about that was they paid us to take this course, and I'm like, yes, I could use the extra cash. So they paid us to take this course. I took it. But what was really great about it was I was able to go ahead and develop the course inside that teaching. But I had to pretend it was going to be an online course. I mean, this is going to be actually an in-person course. And if you're interested, I will go. If you guys are interested, I'll go over how it actually is structured. I'm still kind of working on it. I'm still trying to figure out all the different projects I want them to work on. Let's see here. Cinematography. Here it is. The course outline revision. I like that. Yeah, $500 delivered for Cine Lens Manual by Holman and Props. Yeah, it's an expensive book. I don't think it was. I don't think it was designed for the average reader. I think it was designed for lens designers. Zen and the Art of Bokeh Maintenance. Yes, kind of. The reason why I would call it Zen is because I've been on so many Reddit debates, Reddit forums, and depth of field still is not understood. And I'm really frustrated when people say, that you don't need to know what circle of confusion means because the average user doesn't need to understand circle confusion. The newbie doesn't need to understand how depth of field works. Well, okay, the newbie doesn't need to understand how depth of field works, but when you get into these debates and you get into these arguments and you talk about it online, and then you're dealing with people that have half-baked ideas of how depth of field work, then maybe newbies shouldn't be talking about depth of field. So that's so I wanted to make this video about depth of field to kind of like just calm the air, because I think depth of field is an extremely easy to understand concept. You have to let go of certain truths that you hold. So I find that the zen of depth of field is realizing that depth of field is perceptive. It's perceptual. And once you realize that, oh yeah, depth of field is perceptual, then you no longer have this like obsession over oh, this works this way, this works that way, or depth of field is only this part here, and I've got to zoom in to make sure it's no. Depth of field is perceptual. How long is the course? The course is 16 weeks. It is taught at MSJC. It is a second level course at MSJC. The age range of people that attend MSJC, I've gotten as young as like maybe 16, 17. They're high school students that were taking college courses, all the way up to 76 years old. And I had a elderly man from Latvia that had shot on film his whole life, and he was wanting to get into digital. And I really enjoyed having him in the class. It was great. So that's the class. I don't know if you are in this area, you live in this area. If you wanted to just go and take the course, you would, but you have to like get it cleared to like say you're proficient enough to take it. But otherwise, that's what the course is. Let me run. Cambridge in color and book is a gold standard for color design, but I am not doing color. And by the way, I know a lot of you, if you were to hear and you saw my confidence monitor in my studio, you would be shocked because you're saying, John, how can you color correct on that monitor? And the answer is I'm not worried about it. I'll show you. Let me unplug this camera so it doesn't, the battery. So I got in front of me, I've got a Scepter monitor that was from my old studio. Yes, it's not great color, but you know what? I'm not spending more money on a color monitor right now. Maybe one day when I get super rich or whatever. Maybe one day when somebody drops a $2 million like super chat, that's when I'll get a color monitor, like a high-end color monitor, right? But not until that day. So just to kind of give you an idea of what my course, because I'm just talking out loud here, talking out loud now. Oh no! Here's what my course looks like. I'm just sharing stuff with you guys just because I want to chat. Week 1 will be intro. So every week, essentially, we're going to be trying to do at least one or two like. One or two, what do you call it? Video projects. Good. Fellow Citizen writes, Peter Carbe, like a lens designer, has covered in online seminars that he uses tricks to augment, emphasize the illusion of DOF. Interesting. My approach to the Zen is going to be purely theoretical. So it's not to do with lens, like actual lens, because there are things that with a lens that will obviously, make depth of field appear more or less depth in things more or less in focus, right? Because focus is all about the softness of the lens. So yeah, definitely there are things you can do in the lens there. Will there be an online option? Nope, sorry. This is purely online. But hey, never know in the future, what would happen. I'm just developing this thing. Let me teach it a couple times, and maybe there'll be some online options. So here's kind of a brief overview. I'll just kind of go over quickly with this. Oops. This is my homework assignment. I had to write all this crap. First week, we're going to focus on just introducing things and visual components. So they're going to do a video project called Home, which will be 4 shots of a home, no dialogue, of their home. It can be any interpretation of home you want. It can be home as in like your parents, your house, your home, your bedroom. It could be your school. It could be your favorite bar. It could be your favorite restaurant. It could be your car. Whatever is home to you. Okay, second week, we're talking about space. We're going to look at through illusion of space. We're going to do a framing shot with five shots demonstrating different types of space. And then the homework is going to be a space-themed cinematic poem. So choose one of 3 themes: adventure, emptiness, repetition. Develop 4-shot cinematic poem, no more than 30 seconds long, no dialogue, must comment on 2 peer submissions. So that's the third week. Fourth week will be line and shape. So in the homework assignment will be lines and circles, a cinematic poem about a plate. So I'm going to have them make a video about a plate. Again, 5 shots. Next week is going to be on tone, high contrast, low contrast, tonal emphasis. And then we're going to do a visual, homework assignment is going to be 5 shots telling a visual progression from dark to light or vice versa, no dialogue or human faces. Then the 5th week will be on color. So we'll do a color lab with 3 stations. And then we're going to pick one color and compile a visual poem of 5 different objects, wardrobe, or items that feature that color, create different moods with that color. Week 6 is midterm time, so starting to do a midterm. So 6 will be kind of the start of the midterm. Week 7 will be, we're talking about cameras all now. So it's going to take a month and a half before we really dive into what cameras are in a cinematography course, which I love. Because literally the first 6 weeks of this course can be done on a cell phone. And that's kind of my design. Because the fact of the matter is a lot of students can't really afford a high-end camera. So, oops. What is this thing doing? Camera firmware. Oh. A lot of students can't afford a camera. So, I want to make sure that they have the ability to do the project on a phone. And so all of the first 6 weeks can literally be done on a phone. So I love that ability to be able to do that. Although week 7, we get into what cameras are. So we start talking about camera specs. And then at this point, I think the homework assignment is or the midweek assignment is to research and compare 5 cameras. And the midterm, and the homework assignment is the midterm 1, finish that midterm. Week 8 is about exposure. So we're talking about exposure. There's a light and dark, overexposure, underexposure homework assignment. Week 9 is dynamic range. So we're talking about important to gradually reveal through light, exposure, camera positioning. Week 10 is optics and focus. So we're going to be talking about depth of field, my favorite topic. And we're going to use depth of field in a short little video for the homework assignment. Week 11 is lighting basics, so 3-point lighting with direction. And then we're going to do a lighting homework assignment that's just a silent movie with just one light source and three shots. Week 12 is DIY grip and control. So we're going to talk about static. We're going to do the homework is repetition with change, 1 setup, 2 meanings. Choose a static setup, same subject frame. In shot 1, use lighting control to create neutral, balanced tone. In shot 2, modify only the grip tools, not the light itself, to create drama, mystery, and tension. Week 13, set operations. So it's going to be kind of a breakdown of that. And it's going to be, storyboard assignment midterm. So, you're going to start storyboarding your second midterm. Okay, so you're going to have to do a storyboard. Week 14 is continuity. So you're going to finish your midterm 2 with a process video. So I want them to do like a how-to video sort of thing. And then the last 2 weeks, 15 and 17, will be their final project. So they'll have 2 midterms and a final. And then the final is pick two, no dialogue, but voiceover text a story in 2 minutes. And I think it's going to be pretty open as far as, I might give them like a story prompt or something. So that's the breakdown. And keep in mind too, weeks 15, 17 is around Thanksgiving. So I need to do that. I've been meaning to get Understanding Photography by Sean McHugh at Cambridge Color. I think it covers DOF too, not just color. Cool. Yeah, my DOF video will be unlike any other video because I don't give a shit anymore. It's zen. It's going to be very, very zen. It's going to be a very zen video. Doom, doom. You have come here in search of answers for how to get shallow depth of field. In snapping this channel, uncovered some old phones they bought for under $20 and used some interesting cheap photography like the Huawei's P10 monochrome camera. Interesting. Yeah, go ahead and see if you can get the textbooks. Those textbooks are, especially this one. Like, this one is, like, I would say get that one period first. This is really, really important. This will never go out of style. Like, you will never stop using this, the concepts you get out of this book. This book is more of a good overview for like cinematography and like how to approach certain things. This is more technical. So this one is very, very theory heavy, but this is very technical heavy. And so that's why the design of it was to make the theory first. So give the students a lot of theory up front and then allow them to like get more into technical things. All right, well, I probably need to get going here because I need to go get some food here for my friends. Let's see, make sure that we are having stuff. Let's see, we'll bring cherries, ice cream, and half a blueberry pie. Tim's bringing guac and chips. Okay, so I got to figure out. I was going to do like maybe I saw ChatGPT gave me an idea for a kale slaw. I don't know. It may or may not be. I'm trying to eat more fiber. Because I watched this documentary on Netflix about the gut biome. And it was cute. You know, the thing about some of those documentaries, though, it's like you wish it would just get to the point. Like, documentaries today, like for Netflix and stuff like that, feel like they're full of a lot of filler. Right? It's like an hour-long documentary. It's about like the recent scientific discoveries about biome health in the gut, and how like every human being has different guts, right? Different types of guts, and different critters that live in the guts, right? And what do you call it? So I found that part fascinating. However, then they spent like a lot of time interviewing like all these different people from like human interest stories. Like, oh, here's a competitive eater. Here's a person that can't feel hunger. Here's a person that's this and that. And I was like, I don't really care about that. I just want to learn about the science of the gut. Can you give me more of that? So I watched about 20 minutes of it at my girlfriend's house, and we had to go do something. So I didn't get to watch the rest of it. But I got the message, which was to eat more fiber. The message was, it doesn't matter if you eat meat. It doesn't matter if you don't eat meat. If you eat like a low animal protein or high animal protein, if you eat fiber, that's important because that's what the little microbes in your gut eat. They eat the fiber. Garrett, thank you so much. I was one of the people, 0.4%, who found your slit scan video thanks to a YouTube recommendation. I loved it so much I had to subscribe and catch up with your other videos soon. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I hope we didn't get upset with my eyes drifting off to the side because like, or my misspelling of Legos. My gosh. Do the editions matter very much, or are older ones okay? For the visual block book, for this book, I think the more recent editions matter. It is only the 4th edition, so it's not that old. I feel like this is probably going to be more dated. For visual story, I have the 3rd edition. I think I have the 2nd edition or 1st edition somewhere in my library. I don't know where it is. I don't think that one matters as much. I mean, they changed the chapters a little bit, but like if you were following in my course, then I would say try to stick to the version that we were using. But if you're doing it on your own, just whatever version you want. Just to let you know, you can find these books as PDFs online. I'll let it go like that. Dr. Berg and the Vegetable Police are my go-to channels for health. Oh, interesting. So anyhow, I do want to eat more fiber. So that's why I was thinking the kale salad. Kale coleslaw. Emmett Ocean says, good video. Thank you. All right. Well, I'm opening up the floor. I've been yapping all this time. What do you guys want to chat about? I've got a few minutes before I should run. I'll probably run about 6 o'clock. So I got a few minutes. What are you guys interested in? And I saw this. Dirk, thank you. Dirk Schneider gave me 100 SEK. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That is always a very, very great, very good, what do you call it? A great compliment to get a little super chat. Always a fan of Rutledge books since college. Are these Rutledge books? Oh yeah, they are. I've always wanted to write my own textbook, but I don't know. I have this theory, and I still think it's true, that everything in filmmaking can be explained in about 15 minutes. Any one topic can be explained in about 15 minutes about filmmaking. They just add up to a lot of different topics. So, yeah, I've really, like, I'm at a point. I'm really enjoying where my life is heading right now, but a lot of my life right now isn't involving filmmaking, and I miss certain aspects of filmmaking, and I want to go back to doing certain things that bring me pleasure and bring me excitement. And what I enjoyed about filmmaking as a kid was I'd be able to make certain things. You know, there was a day when I would make videos and I would just watch them over and over again. Like, if I made something entertaining, I would literally watch it and I would enjoy it, and then I would watch it again, and I'd watch it again, and I'd watch it again, and watch it again. I literally watch it like hundreds of times. And I now, like, for like a lot of the work stuff I do, I can't even bring myself to watch it for QC, like for quality control, because it's like, you know, like I just don't care, you know. And I feel like it's like the beginnings. It's not maybe not the beginnings per se, but like more like the symptoms of burning out. I feel like I'm burning out a little bit, you know. And but my life has gotten better. I've been able to build this studio, which is fantastic. I'm spending less money on this thing than I did in my old studio. It's my own personal studio now. Outside my window, I've got a little garden growing. I'm going to redo this patio. I just got some of the shade sales for it. Things are going well. You know, I could always make more money. Right now it's kind of slow. So, you know, but you know, it is the slow period. So it'll pick up again as I head towards October and start doing a lot of other stuff. So thank you. I'm looking forward to Zen of DOF video. Yeah, so those two videos are on my goal UA, and they'll kind of establish a new approach to how I do things around here and how I do things in here in the studio. Woody Allen has written every single one of his films on the same typewriter. He never rewatches any of them. That's interesting. I wonder if he gets like tired. Like, I mean, during the production process, he has to have like watch them millions of times, right? Or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if I could ever get to that point, you know? Like, I don't know. I wish, I would love to direct another short or something. I'd love to do a feature, but that's just too much involvement and time. I have been getting back to the comic books. So I in the last 2 days, I have inked a lot of it. I've started, so hopefully I just keep pumping away a little bit at a time, you know? Speaking of fiber, these are good apricots. Where's some good course literature for video production class that your students have taken before taking the cinematography class? So the intro class doesn't have a textbook at all. The way I teach it is I teach very much from the perspective of I use a lot of my videos, although I don't make them required viewing because I feel like that's a little egoistical. I mean, I probably should, but I'll show you what the module looks like. Sorry, I'm chewing. So this is the last thing I taught. So each week is a unit. Unit 1, designing a montage. So week 1 will be intro. So basic like video fundamentals. I introduce in Premiere because it's a Premiere class. Let me make that a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. I go through like what aspect ratio is and all that. Week 2, we start doing. I do a hard drive check, so make sure they have their own hard drive. And believe me, having your own hard drive is a freaking thing. Freaking thing. Why would he rewatch his own typewriter? Good joke there. I love it. Making sure students have their own hard drive is very, very difficult. And on top of that, media like hygiene is very, very difficult. Because first of all, it's hard enough to get the students to buy one hard drive. All right. Go out and buy yourself one hard drive like this. This is perfect. Get one of these. Okay. This is like 70, what? No, this is like maybe 120 bucks. Okay. Now, what's the proper thing to do? Say it with me. Have a backup. It's hard enough to get them to buy one. Having them buy a backup, that's difficult. But what's really difficult, though, is trying to train the students to be hygienic with their media. When you go and you download some media from an online source, don't leave it in your download folder. Put it into your project folder under video. Because what happens is they're working at home. They're working at home. They're putting in their download, drop it in Premiere. They put the Premiere file on this hard drive. They show up to class, open the Premiere file. Oh, you've got missing footage. Why? Because you downloaded the footage and you left it in your download folder. So that's difficult. So that's why there's a hard drive check. So we talk about the history of montage, audio, and I do color. I try to talk about a little about color theory, Premiere, and we dig into data, talk about cameras, and we rough draft review for the project 1. Then section 2 is getting to know the camera, shooting some B-roll, practice lighting and shooting, editing and interview. So we're going to have them do an interview. That's your second project. Okay, and then the third project is a mini documentary, which I basically let them do whatever they want. Which if I taught this course again, I probably would redo that third particular course because it's a little too much, not enough hand holding. You need to hand hold them really, really, like well. You just reminded me of an old Zen junior monk having to draw a dead fish over and over again, which he resents, but later appreciates the newfound perceptual clarity. Yep. I like that fish story. The down low on the downloads. Yeah. I don't know. I think if I taught again, I mean, I will probably teach it again eventually. I might end up teaching both classes. I don't know how I would do that. I mean, I feel like I need to get my life a little more, because right now my life is sort of like everywhere. Like I'm just up in the air. I'm going, out. I'm going in. I have projects that are due, but they're not due yet. I'm waiting for people to pay me money. So I'm sort of all over the place right now. And I think if I can get my life a little bit more like structured, where I'm a little more predictable and a little more like I know what I'm doing, then maybe I could take on a second class, because I could always use the guaranteed income from a second class. It's not bad. It pays pretty decently. So I would probably consider that. I just need to get my life in order. That's what I need to do. That's what all this was trying to do. And it's happening. It's happening, but bit by bit. I just got to keep the nose to the grindstone. Anyhow, you hear me chat. You hear me yabber. What do you guys want to know? My life is complex, says Michael Keaton. Batman, 1989. There it is. There's the... It is. But I think once I get a little more structure, once I figure it all out, I can know what to expect, get it all under control, put things where they need to be, not have to go searching everywhere for them. I think then it'll be really, really. I can like streamline, and that'll be good. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Anyhow, what shall we say? Any other comments? All right. Well, let's wrap it up. If Carolina's watching, hey Carolina. Nothing. I need to get all my shit organized. That's not talking about you. Talking about my house and my everything in my house organized. Cause it's so like it just like weighs on me, all the stuff everywhere. And part of it's like, I get it. I'm in a transitional period, so I get it. But it's a lot. Sometimes sometimes I feel like I didn't get anything done, but I still need time off. All right. Anyhow, enough of me complaining. What do you guys want to talk? Are we ready to close? Are we ready to wrap it up here? You need to don a scout cape and guard the night. That's not what I need. But thanks for the suggestion. Not what I need, but thanks for the suggestion. All right, guys. I am going to head off. We'll try to get back on the stream next week. And until then, let us say our adieus, and we shall talk to you later. Thank you, Dirk, for your compliments, and we will see you later. All right, now, fade to black, folks. Fade to black.